What's the best part of your day?
Oh, my baby's awake. Let's take a walk. My baby Jill.
Heartwarming moments are nurtured with Maxime Elite. Give Max love for the best moments with your best friend. Nurture heartwarming moments with Maxime Elite. What's the best part of your day?
Ready, Jack? Great catch.
Playtime is more fun with Maxime. Have Max Fun for the best moments with your best friend. Unleash the fun together with Maxime. The best part of my day is playing catch with my buddy Jack.
The best part of my day are memorable cuddly moments with my baby Jill.
The best moments are created when you give your best friend the proper nourishment and care. Maxime is fortified with essential nutrients so that your pet stays happy, active, tough, and smart. Max the fun. Max the love.
Great catch.
Live the best life together with Maxime.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sue Jose, and welcome to another afternoon of our EntrePETneurs Academy here. Okay? Magandang hapon po. Ngayong hapon, we will be talking about introduction to inventory management. Ayan. So, ngayong maulang hapon ng Friday, we have our speaker, Miss Jolinne Pamatmat. And, alam nyo na, medyo humble itong speaker natin ngayong hapon. Ayaw niya sabihin na expert daw siya sa inventory management. She'd rather be known na in-explore lang niya ang different processes including inventory, purchasing, sales, marketing, and iba pang sa isang grupo ng mga companies, of course, for efficient and effective management. Also, she's a strategic integrator in personal and business development, utilizing visual communication, coaching, training, and management. So she's a corporate trainer, and she's also a personal coach and author po. Yan, meron siyang book na pinublish a couple of years back. So also we do have Miss Jolinne Pamatmat this afternoon. Kasama rin po niya mamaya si Miss Blessy Sarsuela, of course, the National Sales Manager of Maxime PH. Magandang hapon to everybody. Miss Jolinne, where are you?
Hi, good afternoon everyone. Hi Sue, thank you for that introduction. Na, syempre, every time I'm introduced, regardless if it's a live event, even if it's a webinar, I think I just cringe. But I'm grateful for the introduction. Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to do this also.
All right. Okay. So I guess maybe take over na si Miss Jolinne. Is Miss Blessy joining in?
I'm here. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. We're happy to be here on a rainy afternoon. Nevertheless, on a Friday. Sabi ko, bakit naman Friday? Parang nakakatamad na, no? Pero business day, it's still a business day still, and wala naman pong pinipili pagka negosyante tayo, di ba? Tama po ba? Walang pahinga, walang
True.
It doesn't matter if it's a Friday night or a Saturday evening for us. If it's a day for learning, we're here. And I hope that you do take advantage of this session. This is our fourth, I think, no? We've had the introduction to pet care. We had marketing. We've had what? Finance. And then this is the fourth one. Yes, that's correct. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have some more later on throughout the balance year. And then, yeah. So thank you, Miss Jolinne, for gracing our event. So hopefully, our viewers will learn a thing or two or more, no? Dapat hindi lang dalawa. Otherwise, magbasa na lang sila ng libro, diba? But I think the live session. Yes. Okay. Sige, take it away, Miss Jolinne, and thank you very much again, everyone, for joining us.
All right. Sige po. See you later.
Thank you. Okay. First and foremost, I'd like to, I know that Sue is the one managing the comment thread in our live, no? So if ever I'd like to know, kasi alam ko na-introduce naman ako ni Sue, But kahit na hindi tayo nagkikita, I'd like to know at least, no, where are you from? The ones who are here live with us, where are you viewing us from? Are you Quezon City ba? At least the city, the area where you're coming from. No? So please comment in the thread where you're from, just for us to have an idea who are with us. No? And while you are letting us know where you're coming from, perhaps you can also share with us, you know, sabi nga ni Miss Blessy, ano ba yan? It's a Friday afternoon, no? And it's medyo yung for some, patapos na yung week, nakakatamad na, but hey, we're here to learn still. And so since you're with us, I'd like to know, though it's raining, though it's already Friday afternoon, perhaps it's the start of the weekend for some of you, I'd like to know, and please comment in the thread, what did you have to give up to be with us this hour? What did you have to give up? Well, did you have to give up sleep? Did you have to give up, you know, having to finish up certain reports? Instead of doing that, you're here. So please comment in the thread, no? What did you have to give up just for you to be here with us this hour? Okay, so that is something that if we're very clear as to what you're giving up for you to learn something this afternoon, then we would like you to know that we're very grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with us, and that whatever that is that you're giving up, I do hope that I will be able to make it worth your while. Okay, and so if you gave up sleep, you know, for some of you perhaps dapat natutulog na ako, siesta time ko to, but instead of sleeping, I'm here to learn. Or yeah, katulad na mention ko kanina, perhaps you are going to finish up a report or whatever it is. Perhaps you wanted to have an afternoon snack with your friends, but instead of doing that, you're here with us. So we're very grateful that you're choosing to be with us this afternoon. Okay, and so perhaps we could and as we are waiting for some more people to join us, perhaps no, so tingnan natin, just have some warmers as to how we are going to be this afternoon. So if you know what you're giving up this afternoon just to be here in this learning session, so try to find out for yourself as well. No? So what are you willing to do to make this worth your while? Okay? What are you willing to do so that this hour with us here at Maxime, in this EntrePETneurs Academy, would be worth your while? No? Will you be willing to listen? Will you be willing to participate? Will you be willing to share your best practices, perhaps? Now, if there's an opportunity to be able to do that. So what is it are you willing to do to make this worth your while? No, yung isang oras that you're going to be with us. Now, perhaps at this time, no, as you are commenting in the thread, I know Sue is with us naman, no, but if ever Sue can just jump in, just in case there are certain comments or questions, I'll be welcoming those. Okay, and so as we are about to, perhaps as Sue is collating, perhaps you're going through your comments, we can begin my presentation. So I know that so perhaps we could begin. There's tech people behind this learning session, and so you're going to hear me say, next slide please, and that's because our tech people are the ones behind this presentation, are helping me do this learning session with you. Okay, so this is it's just para lang hindi kayo naliligaw, no, sa hapon na ito. Today is all about inventory management. Okay, although it's an introduction, just to let you know na hindi naman tayo magno-nosebleed dito, but hopefully you're still going to learn a thing or two and have a feel of how inventory management could be for your store, no, for your business. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so in this, okay, so Sue has already introduced me, but perhaps for you to have an idea what I do, for businesses. And of recent, I was in almost 4 years, or more than 3 years of being with this group of companies. They have resorts, they have restaurants, there's an automotive, there's so may tour agency, and so iba-ibang klase ng industriya meron tong group of companies na to. Although most are related to the tourism industry. And I worked with them, not just in their business processes. At first, I was with them for training and marketing as a training and marketing consultant, and we expanded into taking a look at all the processes, and eventually I coached their CEO. And in this particular time that I was with them, hindi lang sa na-explore ko siya, I was able to see what works or what doesn't work. So in a way, I may not know everything. Okay, I may not know everything, but what the little that I know I can share with you, and hopefully it could help you with your business. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so as a trainer and as a coach, I'd like to bring into this webinar 3 objectives. So that at the end of the webinar, we're going to see if at least you would have a basic knowledge of inventory management, and that you would be able to identify the factors that would affect the organization, the procurement or purchasing, and the storage of the products that you have. And also that at the end of the webinar, at least you'll have an idea as to what are the tools that you could use to monitor your inventory levels. Okay, so that's going to be how we're going to make this worth your while, I hope. And please, next slide, please. So that will be the objectives for this webinar. Okay, now, how will this webinar be for you? I do recommend that if you'd like to create value for yourself for the hour that you're going to be with us, and it's not just going to pass you by and it will be worth your while, please do listen and please do participate. Minimum participation is to listen. Additional up the level participation is perhaps if you're going to comment on the thread, no? And that's a way for you to participate. Now, this is more or less like an hour webinar, but the last 15 minutes of this presentation will be for Q&A. So if you have questions, and hopefully you'll be able to answer that, and that will be allotted. The 15 minutes of the time will be around 15 minutes before we end this webinar. And if you do want a copy of the presentation, it could be provided to you if you would request it. Okay, so thank you very much for that, and we proceed. Right? So next slide, please. Okay, so unang-una, basic. This is a very simple definition of inventory management. What is it? What is inventory management? It is a proper planning of purchasing, handling, and storing. So ito yung parang guide ninyo, the 4 things that you could use as a guide, so you would know if it's an efficient system, is that you know what to purchase, you know how much to purchase, you know where to purchase it from, and you know where to store it. Okay, so those are ideas for you those are the 4 things that perhaps you can use as guidelines and parameters for you to know how efficient your system of inventory is. Now, just pansingit lang, no? When we say efficient, normally efficient is about not wasting resources. May it be people, may it be financial resource, may it be equipment, no? So it's all about not wasting resources. That's efficiency. Na pag sinabing effective, yung sinabing effective would be, are your activities or the things that you do, the steps that you're taking, are they in alignment to your goals, to your company goals? Then, if the activities and the action steps that you're taking is aligned to your goals, then they're effective. Okay, so just a bit of additional information. No? So that's more or less what inventory management is. It's a proper planning of purchasing, handling, and storing. Now, inventory management, next slide, please, is just really a part of a bigger concept or a bigger management process, which is supply chain management. Hindi tayo mag-go into supply chain management, no? Kasi it is the management of the flow of goods and services between businesses and locations. Normally, parang from raw materials up to the work in process inventory to the finished goods to hanggang makarating siya sa consumer. That's supply chain management. So, but inventory management is a part of that. Para lang alam natin na malaki inventory management is a part of a bigger thing. But hopefully, if you are looking at your business to grow, that's something that you can look forward to bringing into the processes of your business. Okay. So next slide, please. Okay. So when we talk about inventory, just like in any business rin naman, no? Or in any goal, you begin with the end in mind. In this case, pwede nating tingnan na what is the end in mind in terms of physical structure. So if you're going to see it there on your screen, if you could picture already how either your store will look like or how will your storage room will look like, just to have an idea, no? Begin with the end in mind. Yun yung ending, yung pagkakaayos-ayos nito sa isang area. And so if you have that in mind, then great. Also, when you say begin with the end in mind, it's not just the physical, because when you talk about inventory management, it's not just really the storeroom. It's not just where you put your stocks, your products, but also begin with the end in mind as to how you're going to fix the system behind it, not the processes behind it. So begin with the end in mind. Magsimula ka kung paano yung ending. So from the end in mind, from how you see it, how it will end up, you could work backwards. So you could prepare, you could fix, and you could put things, you could organize things. Okay, so next slide, please. So when you do have that in mind, other than the tangible or the physical structure or your brick and mortar store, yung talagang store nyo or yung talagang storage room nyo, titingnan nyo rin, sino nga ba ang kasama pag nag-aayos ako ng inventory? Now, perhaps, iba sa inyo, iniisip nyo, sandali, ako lang talaga I have just started my business and it's just me. And even if you do have partners and even if you have mga kasama in the business, pero ikaw yung nandun sa store. So isipin mo, ako lang yun lahat. So, pero kahit na ikaw lang yun lahat. So let's say you are either the owner or you're the one in the store mismo and you're the one moving about physically for the store, for the business. You can take a look at it in terms of roles that you play. So even if you're like multitasking, you're playing different roles, take a look at the roles that you play. So kung titingnan natin, sino nga ba to? So in inventory, pag inaayos yung inventory, or when you take a look at inventory management, may kasama siyang pagbili, when you purchase. Sa ibang companies, may iba yung bumibili, iba yung nagde-determine saan bibili, magkanong budget, kailan bibilhin, gano'n, no? And ibang tao yun. Iba pa yung bibili mismo, iba yung purchaser. Tapos iba rin yung kahit na may nagde-decide what to buy, who to buy it from, and iba yung bibili. Meron ding iba na, iba pa yung nagmo-monitor mismo ng if it's a warehouse, if it's a storage room, if it's a stock room, ibang tao pa rin yun. So take a look at that, no? Baka para rin then you'll have an idea that even if at the moment you're the only one doing it, it's something for you to prepare for if you have plans of really growing your business big, right? Okay. Now, other than that one na obvious na ito yung mga roles na involved in inventory management or in planning for these goods and may mga nakalink doon sa inventory. And the roles that link to that is sales, no? Paano siya nakalink? Kasi merong ibang tao yung nagbebenta, no? Pero minsan, di ba, naiisip nyo ba yon? kailangan ko magbenta pero wala akong maibenta, wala kaming stock. Okay, so inventory management it is connected to sales as well. Also, who would have the authority to decide? No? So you're going to play the role of a manager. So kunwari, you have different hats. No? So sometimes you play you wear the hat of a purchasing officer. Sometimes you wear the hat of a purchaser. Sometimes you wear the hat of a stockroom person. Sometimes you wear the hat of a salesperson if you're also the one selling. Now you do wear the hat of a manager if you're the one who's going to approve how much you're going to buy, when to buy, all these authority-laden decisions, then you're playing the role of a manager. And now, inventory is also connected to accounting. So you can take a look at the roles that you play if you're multitasking. So sometimes, di ba, you play the role of accounting. So as the inventory comes in, or as sales as these items are sold, syempre nakadikit yan sa accounting, no? Because of the purchases, how much has been purchased, and so nakakonect siya sa accounting. And so how much has been sold, of course it's connected to accounting, because of course kung ano yung nabenta, then from there you could see if you can purchase some more, and look at your profit margin. That's accounting. Okay. Now, marketing, ano pinakaiba ng sales sa marketing? And it's connected to inventory as well, because it's movement of goods. So the marketing, the difference there is the marketing is actually the one that is bringing the customer to the store so that the salesperson can close the deal. So inventory is connected to marketing, because if the marketing will sell the idea of, hey, buy from us, buy from our store, then inventory will have to make sure na yung minamarket ng marketing is available, no? And so in vice versa, if may slow moving items in inventory, then it will be connected to marketing, because marketing will be pushed to market the products, and eventually the sales will close the deal when the customer goes to your store. Okay, so these are just ideas for you to be prepared with if ever you're alone in your store pa lang, if you're a business owner na you're multitasking and you're doing all the roles, at least you know what to prepare for when you do bring in help. No? Kasi syempre, in a business, even if ang galing-galing mo, it would really be great if you have people helping you out. And these are the roles that are possible for them to help you out with. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so ang tanong, siguro sa inyo that are here, no, please comment in the thread. Where are your products? No, are they all in your store? Or are you do have a storeroom or a stock room? Okay, so di ba, and I've seen, although I visited just a few stores, but I do see pet supply stores na lahat nandun lang sa store, and not much of a storeroom really, but pero sa inyo, na the ones that are here, the store or the storeroom, where do you place your items, your stocks? Okay. Next slide, please. So if you are going to either nasa store lahat yan, kasi wala akong stock room, Jolinne, maliit lang yung store ko, so everything is there. O di kaya, meron akong, I spoke to one store, yung iba, nagsimula sila sa bahay. So yung stock room nila isang kwarto, no? And everything else is online. Wala pa silang physical store noon. So what do they have to consider? So these are your considerations when either you're in the store or your stocks are all in the store, or you do have a storeroom or a stock room. Okay, so please consider if you're going to use shelves or containers, plastic containers, the closed ones. If you're going to use plastic, I see this a lot, of course, definitely, because most of the pet supply stores, they repack. Okay? How do you seal? Paano yung closure ng inyong mga produkto, especially when you're repacking? Okay? So these are the considerations. Do you use shelves? Do you use containers? Do you use closed stands? What are your products? Do you carry only perishables or do you carry non-perishables also? No, perishables yung mauubos na kinakain, no, nabubulok, nag-expire. Or meron ka ring mga katulad ng mga accessories, those are non-perishable. No? So when you're going to consider that, like where will you place them? No? How are you going to store them? And in connection to that is the expiration. Now, what is the shelf life or expiration dates of your products, especially the perishable ones, and even the non-perishable ones? Titingnan nyo siya, kung hindi man siya expiration date, pero ano yung shelf life niya na mukha siyang in mint condition, no? Na hindi siya mukhang luma o hindi siya mukhang kahit yung packaging lang niya, kahit maayos yung produkto sa loob, pero yung packaging niya parang baka tattered, di ba? So consider that. Okay? Also, consider your items. Now, I've seen some stores, they don't carry big items yet. But if you are a store that carry big items like cages, kennels, no, the packs, the backpacks, and so consider where that will go, and that's a way for you to consider if it's a store or the stock room. These are things that you can take a look at. Also, and it's not just the store where you're going to put your items. In your industry, specifically, there's a lot of repacking. So, saan nyo siya gagawin? Okay, so do consider the activities that you're going to do in the store, because you're not just selling in the store. Diba? Doon din kayo magre-repack. Just in case, no, na wala kayong stock room or wala kayong ibang area for it, but that's where you're going to do it. So consider that in your store, in the area that you're going to use. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so with all these with the things that you're going to consider, these are just simple recommendations, and let's take a look at how it's going to be in the next slides. No, so I do recommend that mag first in first out, at least kung paano nyo nilalagay. If you're going to do it just in the store, or you do have a stock room, first in first out. Kung ano yung una nyong pinurchase, yun din ang una ninyong ibebenta. Now, just in case na hindi lang ikaw yung nasa store, may tao ka. Hopefully, the people that you hire, yung mga tao mo, lalo na kung sila yung magre-repack, sila yung kukuha ng stocks, na sila yung alam sana nila kung alin doon sa mga stocks ninyo ang una mong nabili, at dapat yun ang una nilang i-repack. Yun ang una nilang ibebenta. So that's why so dapat first in, first out. No? It's a recommendation to do that, first in, first out. Lalo na yung mga perishables, no? Kasi may expiration date, may shelf life. Now, when we are going to do the first in, first out, it would be great if you have shelves, if you're going to use shelves, label your shelves. And I do recommend using codes. Pwedeng color coding. Pwedeng, for example, I did this in the stock room of a company. And ito food industry naman siya. So, meron silang, halimbawa, canned goods. For example, canned goods. And they had a big storage room, isang buong kwarto. But when I went there, apparently the one who was in charge of that, alam niya, first in, first out, alam niya yung konseptong yon. Pero hindi niya inaayos yung kanyang mga stocks in such a way na alam niya yung expiration dates, at namo-monitor niya at nakikita niya visually kung alin yung mag-e-expire na o yung alin yung malayo pa yung expiration. So what I suggested to the one in charge there, we created labels. Okay, so we created labels, not just labeling the shelves, but also labeling the batches. Kasi hindi ka naman bibili ng one go di ba? In a week, for example, depende sa inyo yan, depende sa inyong purchasing. In a week, sometimes you buy twice a week. So there's the first batch, halimbawa, Monday and Wednesday ka bibili. Yung mga binili mo ng Monday, tapos yung binili mo ng Wednesday. But also, it's not only because on the day that you have bought it, may dates naman talaga specifically yung mga items. So, what I suggested for this institution is that they label, and not just to label the shelves, so that kung may ibang tao na na-hire, nakikita nila yung labels. Kumbaga, ikaw, if you're going to grow bigger, okay kung memorize mo yung stocks mo. Pero paano kung wala ka? So better if you do labels. Now, I've seen some stores walang labels, parang good luck sa mga mauutusan nyo paano nila hahanapin. Diba? So put labels, and at the same time, you could go as far as labeling the batches, the expiration dates, place it there, use codes, color coding if need be, so that you will. So these are ways for you. You could design your own coding. You could identify kung paano yung sistema nyo, but I do suggest that you use labels and you use codes, just for you to have signals as to when your stocks are going to move. Okay. Also, I do recommend definitely, because hindi man to food for people, but these are food for pets, and pets are now like part of our family, and so since this is food, we definitely for the ones who are carrying a lot of perishables, and even if may non-perishables kayo like accessories, cleanliness is key. When I interviewed one store, she's very particular about cleanliness, na making sure na siya to the point na wala talagang ibang nandun kundi yung i-repack niya. Yun lang siya. And she doesn't stop until it's done. Making sure that walang pwedeng sumingit sa repacking niya. Okay? So, but definitely cleanliness is key, because one of the reasons why there are wastage or spoilages is cleanliness. Okay? So, but cleanliness is not just, just because wala ka nakikitang dumi, but it's how you're going to really organize. Okay? So these are my recommendations. First in, first out. Use labels and codes, and please maintain cleanliness, utmost cleanliness in your store or your stock room. Hindi porke stock room yan, hindi siya, alam mo yung papalampasin nyo na yung cleanliness. No, definitely in the stock room, you need to maintain cleanliness, because hopefully walang rodents, insects, or you know how we are in a tropical country, the elements, humidity, dust, and all that, it nakaka-apekto siya sa cleanliness ng stock room, kahit ba stock room siya. So, okay. So, next slide, please. So, with these recommendations, I'd like to share with you some photos, no, when I did the pet visit. Next slide, please. So that, not to say na ito yung ultimate, no, but it can give you an idea as to how you're going to maintain your inventory. Okay, so next slide, please. I went to a store na may shelves siya, pero ang sa kanya, she's making sure that her perishables, especially the food, dog food, cat food, are in plastic containers. Hindi masyado in the open shelves. Now, you may think na, now this store, nakakatuwa to store na to, they've been around for only like March, April, May, June, July, 4 or 5 months. And the owner welcomed me in their store, and yan ang nabanggit niya, no? She made sure that it's all in plastic containers, because she doesn't want to leave it to chance na just in case there are rodents, but wala siya noon sa store niya. Pero just she doesn't want to leave it to chance that everything is clean. Her products are clean inside these plastic containers. So when I say organize physically the store, yes, of course, but do organize also the system by which you're going to manage your inventory or monitor your inventory. Next slide, please. So take a look at that. Are you going to use open shelves or closed stands? This is connected to, next slide, please. Movement of products and people. Now, if your inventory, your stocks or your products are in the store and you're going to allow the movement of your customers in the store, now if you have space for them to move, then consider that. Then perhaps it nasa open shelves. Although yung picture kanina na pinakita ko sa inyo, though they are in closed containers, it's labeled, and so pwede pa rin siyang, pwede pa rin ang customer ang kumuha from the shelves, even the plastic containers, even if it's closed. No? So take a look at that. If you're going to use closed stands, if you're going to use open shelves, tingnan nyo siya, you know, most of the decisions that you're going to do is always answering the question, what for? No? Why? Why am I going to use shelves? Oh, because I want my customers to walk. I don't need to na sila mismo ang pipili, sila mismo yung titingin, no, ng produkto. So consider that the movement of people, of your customers. Do you want them to spend time in the store in such a way while making choices, no, while choosing? When I say movement of products naman, alin, so pag sabing movement of products, it's either fast moving or slow moving. Mabilis bang mabenta o slow moving? Ito bang produkto to, dito siya dahil nandito puro pagkain. No? So, do sa kabila, puro accessories. So, take a look at, are you going to use shelves, closed stands, plastic containers, because you are considering the movement. How do you see yourself moving in your store? How do you see yourself moving in your storage room, if you do have a storage room or stock room? But also take a look at how your products are going to move. No? So yeah. So next slide, please. Now there are in your industry, there are fast moving or slow moving items. I was and definitely fast moving ninyo yung mga perishables, dog food, cat food, no? And for some hindi man siya sobrang fast, pero there are certain accessories that are hindi man super slow to move, no? So titignan niyo siya if fast moving or slow moving, and which ones na this one, if I'm talking about this, but this is more merchandising, it's many more promotions, but nakakonekta siya sa inventory kasi doon mo makikita kung saan mo siya ilalagay sa store. Because if you would like your inventory of slow-moving items to move faster, minsan depende yon kung saan mo siya ilulugar sa store mo. So itatabi mo ba yung mga accessories for dogs, yung mga dog accessories mo beside your dog food. Diba? So, para mas mag-move siya, or parang, kasi di ba may ibang mga impulsive buyers, or parang, ay, gusto ko pala to. Bumibili lang ng dog food, pero pag nakita yung item, di ba parang, ay, parang gusto ko din nito. Okay, so take a look at that if you have fast-moving or slow-moving items. Also, it depends on the items that you carry. Now, there's this store that more dog food, cat food, and just a bit of accessories ang kinikerry niya. Hindi pa siya nagkikerry ng vitamins. Hindi pa siya nagkikerry ng mga ganong items for pets. But the one on the picture that is showing in front of you now carries those, and so nilagay niya yon sa closed stands. Hindi niya yon nilagay sa open shelves because of course that needs more let's say care. No? You need to be more careful about these vitamins, the medicines for the pets, and so these are more placed in closed stands. If and only if lalaki na or dadami na yung mga items na i-carry ninyo. Okay, so there. If you also notice, titingnan nyo rin kung ilalagay nyo ba talaga sa containers or naka-expose. Okay, so yan siya. Okay, another, next slide please. Okay, so when you store in your store, what if wala kang storage room, your storeroom is your store. So when you store in your store, do consider definitely the movement of the people na dahil para yung movement nila, lalo na kung okay sa inyo na yung customer nyo pumapasok sa store. Kasi may ibang stores na sasabihin nyo lang, di ba, kung ano yung kailangan nyo, tapos iaabot sa inyo. Iaabot ninyo sa customer yung item. Now, if you're going to store in your store, for example, there in the picture that you're seeing, the sacks are placed orderly or naka-organize siya. Although pagpasok mo na sa store, andun siya. Pero maayos siyang naka-pile up. And there's enough space for the customers to move. Okay? And so yeah. So when you store in your store, organize it in such a way that you're considering movement. Movement of your customers, movement of how you're going to operate the store. Remember, if you're going to repack and you're still in the store, saan yun? So when you store in your store, what are the movements that you're going to do? So that's how you can plan, how you can plan physically storing the items in your store, if and only if there's no stock room. Okay? Now, if you do have a stock room, also be mindful of how you're moving also in the stock room. So one of the recommendations pala, no, in addition to first in, first out, and that you're going to, basically it's organization. You can categorize, you can put categories. You can put categories in how you're going to fix the items in your stock room, or if you don't have a stock room, in your store. Put categories. So, yan. Okay, so when you store in your store, be mindful of movement, be mindful of your operational movement. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, of course, I'd like to say thank you. No? Dalawang store na visit ko. My Forever PH saka yung Fur Village Pet Shop. They're both in BF. I'm from BF. And then there's really a lot, sobrang daming pet store shops in BF because there's a lot of fur families or fur parents here in BF. Well, in our family, meron din kami. So yeah, there's really a lot. But these are the two that I was able to visit. I'm very grateful to. My Forever PH and Fur Village Pet Shop. They're online as well. So if you notice, no, in the picture, obviously, other than the signage, it's a pet store. Diba, yun yung mga palatandaan natin. Bakit? Kasi nakikita natin kung paano nila inayos yung kanilang produkto. They have cages. They have kennels. And nasa harap. So kitang-kita. And iba, may mga ibang pet stores, iba nandun sa harap yung cage para obvious na other than we are a pet supply store, but this is available in our store. Okay? So we do have cages, ganyan. So it depends on how you're going to, again, it's how do you want your customers to move and what is your operational movement. So you can determine how you're going to fix the store. Okay? So next slide, please. Okay, so when will you purchase? When will you, the question is when, no? When you're taking a look at inventory, kailan ako bibili? Kailan ako magre-replenish? Kailan ako pupunta sa store? Kailan, no? When? Another question, and another is, so when, diba? Next slide, please. So you have that, when. The next slide is asking the question, okay, so paano? What now? So if this is what I need to consider, these are the things that I can be mindful of. So what else? So what I mentioned to you a while ago, what I shared with you a while ago, are the physical things that you need to do in a physical store. What I'm going to share with you now is, so paano ko i-monitor nga? Diba? So how? When will I? No? Monitoring it. Next slide, please. I have a sample here. Now, if you're still using logbook, paper, it's okay. Of course, meron ng ibang ways to monitor your inventory. Next slide, please. But if you do use paper still, perhaps you can consider this. Now, kung ating ma-zoom in, no? Ano ba yung columns na yan? So either you do it on paper or you use a spreadsheet, an Excel file. Be mindful na, i-describe ko na lang, no? Just kasi hindi natin ma-zoom in. But the first column is your item code. Have a code for your products. Okay? So, halimbawa, inventory 1, inventory 2, item 1, item 2. You can create your own coding. Okay? So, first column, item code. Then, you can put the next column is item description. Yun na yung adult dog food. Okay? So, may item description, yung iba may item name. Okay? So, you have your item code, your item description, your item name. Okay? And then, what you can do, so that's your parang, if you're going to do that, that's like your master data. Huh? So, and then what you can have as the next one, within this column, may mga sub-columns. Okay? Within that main column is opening. What do I mean? No? Ito nakikita yung spreadsheet in front of you. That's for 1 week, for example. For example, 1 week. So, if your week opens on a Monday, then ano yung opening? Sa opening, titingnan nyo, may dalawang columns dyan. It's the quantity. Okay? Wait I'm going to open. So, yan. So, makikita nyo yung quantity. And then, hold on. I need to see it myself. Parang hindi ko siya masyadong makita. Okay. So, now, what you do have, so meron ka, sige, yung main columns, you have opening, you have purchases, and then consumption. Okay. Under opening, you have quantity and you have amount. Under purchases, you have quantity and you have amount. Under consumption, you also have quantity and you have amount. That is if and only if you, in your inventory monitoring, syempre, titingnan nyo, not just the quantity, ilan yung binili nyo, but yung price. Okay? Now, so you have opening, purchases, consumption. Okay? Now, I don't know, Sir Leo or one of the tech, I'm not sure if you could zoom in para lang mas ma-appreciate ng ating viewers what is here in front of them. Okay? So, just to review lang so you have opening, you have purchases, you have consumption, you have waste, and then you have closing. Okay? So, yun yung mga main heading, no? Yun yung mga main na kailangan niyang tingnan. Okay. Opening, purchases, consumption, waste, and then closing. Now, merong dalawa, there are 2 other columns that is there to help you monitor your inventory. The next 2 columns na nasa bandang dulo is level and current level. Ano yung level? Ito yung guideline mo na. And that is really up to you. Ano yung minimum na dapat meron kang stock? Ano yung maximum na pwedeng stock mo? At saka ano yung reorder level? So if for each item you have that, no, what is the minimum, the maximum, and the reorder level? So the minimum will say na okay pa ako kasi I still have 5 cans of this. If that's what is the minimum for you, then that's your minimum. Okay? But maximum is kapag meron akong 15 cans of this or 10 cans of this. So it's a way for you to be guided for that item. The reorder level is your guide number as to kapag ito na lang yung meron ako, kailangan ko nang mag-replenish. Kailangan ko nang bumili. Okay? Now, that is your guide. No? The levels. Ano yung susunod? Ano yung current level? Sa current level, if you could see it on the screen, may green tsaka may red. Yun yung minimum tsaka yung maximum. Okay? So, ito yung magsasabi sa inyo if this is a way by which you can be signaled if you need to reorder or not, basing on the current stocks that you have, yung existing ninyong stocks. Okay, so it's just a sample, and I'm going to share with you. So I think we still have time. No, I can still share the Excel file, not just for them to see how that can be. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. Okay, this one. Okay, so this is just a sample. I hope you could see the screen. So there's that inventory ID or the item code, and then you have the name of the item, the description of the item, and you need to have the unit of measure. If it's a pack, sako ba to, bottle ba to, can ba to, case ba to, no? So you need to have that unit of measure. Now, if you are going to see here, okay, may opening balance, may purchase, so may total available stocks, consumed, spoilage, other movements. Yung opening balance, kasi what if this is for a week, no? Nag-open ako ng Monday, meron akong 50 pieces of item 1. Okay? If you notice, dun sa purchases, dito, sabihin natin na nung Wednesday, bumili ako ng additional 300. Okay? So yung total available stocks ko na is 350 kasi I started with 50, nagdagdag ako ng 300, so I have 350 na available. But then I was able to sell 250 pieces. Tapos, na may nasayang akong, here, may nasayang akong 5 piraso. So, at the end of the week, I closed with 95 pieces. Okay? So, this is a way by which you can monitor for the week what's going on within the week. Now, if you see here the bottom left of the screen, so itong sheet na to is movement, kung paano nagmo-move yung items. Automatic siya. There's another sheet called the inventory monitoring, na kung ano man yung in-encode ko sa movement, automatic na mag-a-appear. So, di ba kanina nakita natin na the quantity in stock, na at the end of the week may natira akong 95 pieces. I decided bilang store owner that the reorder level is 50. So dapat meron akong na pag may 50 na lang, pwede na ako mag-reorder. So, and I've seen from, let's say, from history of the months that has happened, na in 3 days dapat mapunan ko yung 50 pieces na yun. Okay? So meron akong ganon. So if I'm going to go back to the sheet of movement, kung papalitan ko to, for example, I started with 50, tapos bumili lang ako ng sabihin natin 200 lang. Nag-move na agad sa closing balance ko, no? Meron na akong kulang na ako ng 5. So pag pumunta ako sa inventory list, naka-red flag na siya. If you see here, no? Kapag lumalabas na yung red flag, ibig sabihin, kailangan ko ng mag-purchase. Okay. Now, I'll stop sharing first, no? And I'll go back to Slinger. Okay. So that is a way by which you can do your spreadsheet or your monitoring, at least the quantity. And the inventory levels, you can monitor that kasi makikita nyo yung so yun. So para makikita nyo kung paano yung movement. Okay? So, that's using Excel. Meron lang ako mga short videos to use Peddler. Sue, you're muted.
Ay, sorry. Ayan yan. Excited na yung mga viewers natin. Gusto na yata nilang mapanood yung mga videos mo. Tapos
Okay,
malapit na Q&A.
Oo nga. So yan. So may konting videos lang ako kasi may isang store gumagamit ng app. So hindi lang Excel. Yung isang store na napuntahan ko, Excel ginagamit niya. And kaya niyang ma-flag yung sarili niya kung kailangan niya mag-replenish o hindi. This one, yeah, we can show the videos na, no? The app is called Peddler. It's an app. So ito, dito sa video na to, when you go to Peddler, you click on POS. So, point of sale, no? So, i-click. Ang maganda sa POS na to, pwedeng nandun yung picture ng item. Di ba pag sa alam ko may monthly to eh. May free, pero meron din siyang may paid eh. May free at may paid. Hindi lang Peddler naman ang app, maraming ibang app. But here, if you notice yun, hindi niya kung ano yung binibili ng customer. Tapos nasa bandang taas, ni-review niya, yun yung 2 item na binili ng customer. And in this app, kailangan niyang i-input yung name tsaka yung contact number ng customer. And lalabas na kung ano yung total na binili and ano yung mode of payment. Kung cash, GCash, or kung ano man yung mode of payment. That's the total price of the purchase. And this app can be connected to if the customer needs a receipt. So pwede rin mag-print ng receipt. So ang kagandahan dito, ayan, that's okay na tayo dyan sa video na yan. Ang kagandahan dito, monitor nila yung sale nila. Okay? Tapos, since nandun siya, nasa app na siya, it would show, next video na tayo, yung next video, yung report. In that video, there's a feature on Peddler that says report.
Magkano yung benta mo.
You see, so it doesn't just show how much you have sold, pero it shows yung margin o yung profit. Di ba, yung at cost? Halimbawa, the sale is 690, pero nabili mo yung produkto ng 596. So, kumita ka ng 94. So, nakikita mo na doon. Now, ang isa sa mga kagandahan din ng using this kind of app in terms of in connection to inventory is kung ano yung nabenta na it will appear in your purchases, in the inventory, so that you would, and since it's an app, halimbawa hindi lang ikaw, di ba, nasa store ka, tapos may uutusan kang bibili, o di kaya may iba na there are several people whoever is authorized, of course, could access the app and determine if I need to replenish the stocks. Kasi nakikita na, parang hindi ko na siya yung dati, di ba, mano-mano mo talaga. Although kahit na may app ka, kahit na spreadsheet ka, there will always be a time that you would have to do physical inventory. Yun. That's a must. You have to have your physical inventory. But within the week, for example, na access the app and you'll be able to determine if, uy, kulang na yung stocks ko dito. Because you can access it to the app. So the
Pero
inventory
syempre, Miss Jolinne, bago mo siya, of course, bago magkaroon siya ng laman or data, lalagyan mo siya ng data. So, like you said, kagaya dun sa Excel, isusulat mo yung entry, anong tawag dun, yung stock
item.
yung ganun. So, halimbawa, 10 sacks yung dog food mo, lalagay mo doon. Lalagay mo yung halimbawa, 10 yung mga dog leash mo, yung mga ganun ba?
Yeah, definitely. Kahit naman sa spreadsheet or kahit sa app. Kasi sa app na to, I think it's in another video, no, or yung kaninang video. Makikita mo siya, the products, nakakategorize din yun.
Yes.
So when you click on inventory in the app, nakalagay doon pet supplies. That's another category, pet shampoo. Another category, cat food. It depends on kung paano mo kinategorize. Ito kasi item na mismo yan. What you're seeing on the video, it's the item itself. But in the inventory feature of the app, nakalagay doon yung categories. Makikita mo siya, pag kinlik mo, for example, yung pet shampoo. That's the category. The items in the category will be bearing shampoo, kung ano man yung brand, kung ano man yung specific item. So, nakakategorize siya in the inventory. So yeah. So, that's how, so may it be on the spreadsheet or may it be in an app, you need to encode, you still need to customize. You still need to customize the data. It will, parang, hindi naman siya magic na, uy, it's because I have
sa lahat,
no, you're going to be the one to
encode everything, of course.
Yeah, to organize.
Meron tayong tanong dito, Miss Jolinne. Are you ready to answer some questions already?
Go ahead.
Okay. Ano daw ang pwedeng gawin kapag nagkaroon ng back-ordered inventory or delay sa production ng mga stocks? Halimbawa, hindi yung ganon. Hindi dumating yung, let's say, 5 sako man ng dog food. Paano gagawin?
True. I spoke to one store owner. The reason why they don't necessarily, or meron silang direct, no? May direct suppliers. Tapos meron din sila mga third-party suppliers. So one of the things that I do recommend for store owners is to befriend other stores. Okay, don't see them as competition. You befriend other stores and you be great with suppliers. Have really great relationships with suppliers. Kasi sa store, in any business, minsan, I've seen this, na alam mo, minsan ang kliyente, ang customer napapalitan, pero pag binitin ka ng supplier, good luck No? So you need to have these great relationships. So if you have delays, then the way to answer, kaya ka magpupunta sa third party or you go to another store that perhaps carry that. I'm going to share this with you. I have this friend who has a small milk tea business and they have to close the milk tea business because his wife got pregnant and they cannot manage the store. So yung isa pang milk tea business within their area, they're the ones buying their supply. So kumbaga,
sayang nga naman din. Yeah.
So if you do have delay concerns, I think that's the way that one of the ways for you to address that. Now, of course, delays can be prevented. If you monitor your inventory, delays can be prevented. No? Perhaps just to continue this, may mga challenges talaga sa inventory. One is, it's not just the delay, but the unrecorded or delay. Unrecorded. kaya nagkakaroon ng problema minsan sa inventory. Ay, naku, masyado na akong pagod, hindi ko na na-encode. So, wala. So hanggang sa nalilimutan mo, wala ka na palang stocks, na hindi mo siya na-monitor, tapos hindi ka na makabigay sa sa customer. So that's one of the causes of delay.
That's right. Ay, Jolinne, Miss Blessy is coming in. Miss
Hello?
Blessy, pasok
Ayan.
na.
Kanina pa ako gustong pumasok eh. No, I wanted to I mean I've been listening now and I wanted really to inject some things. But of course, thank you Jolinne, no. But I think I have to make certain points. For example, yun nga yung sinabi ni Sue, yung question na paano pag hindi dumating yung stocks. As a manufacturer, kami yung pet food, 'di ba? Ay, ramdam naman namin ng ang pagdurusa pagka walang maibenta. Kasi syempre, pag wala kayong naibenta, wala rin kaming benta. So ganun lang naman 'yon. However, you also have to check, no, yung supplier relationship, as Jolinne was saying. You also have to know what the lead times are. Know what is the realistic lead times, especially now, with the Russian and Ukraine conflict. A lot of the raw materials are really, really skyrocketing in terms of prices. So, ang dami nagpa-price increase. And because of that, hindi makakope yung production, no? Just like us, no, we're having trouble getting raw materials, and that causes delay. And you have to find out, no, whether you're buying directly from the manufacturer or a distributor. You have to ask them how much is your lead time, para you can also input that when you're planning your inventory. Halimbawa, nag-order ka day 1, dumating day 15. Sira na yung 15 days mo. If you were only, kung zero ka na ng ano pa lang, 'di ba? Way ahead, zero ka na, wala ka nang benta for the next 15 days. But if the supplier turnaround is much quicker, then I think it should save you from a little bit of loss, no? But that's my one point. I have a question though. In all my 15 years, no, this is the problem. A lot of the pet shop owners don't want to do POS system. Why? Because we know it. I think we know why, no? Because of tax exposure.
Yes.
Because having a POS system solves everything you just said, no? Yung how to manage inventory, when the trigger will be, kung kailan ka na dapat mag-order, ano ba dapat yung days cover ng isang item, dapat ba you have 2 months worth? Depende sa laki ng item, no? Kung 20 kilogram bags yan, if you have 2 months worth, and ang benta mo is 500 bags a month, you cannot have 1,000 bags in your store unless you have a separate storage. What kasi yung kanina sinabi mo, ang daming kwento, no? There was one pet shop owner who asked me, sabi ko, paano mo nire-record ang sales mo? Ma'am, sinusulat ko lang sa security logbook, yung the blue one, the thick one, yung pwedeng makapatay ng tao pag hinampas mo dahil sobrang bigat. So that one, doon lang niya sinusulat yung benta. And then what happens after that? Wala na. Hanggang doon lang. So why were you writing it in the first place? Why were you writing down your sales in the first place? Just to account what was sold for that day? Maybe, no? That was maybe her purpose lang. Sinusulat lang namin sa logbook, okay, 10 bags of ganito, 1 leash, 1 collar, 1 bowl, etc., etc. And then what is the total sales for the day? But that information, that logbook, is supposed to be a wealth of information if they decided to encode it. Correct?
Yes,
because mahirap kasi na titignan mo lang sa notebook, bibilangin mo kung babalikan mo lahat for the past 30 days, kung ilan na nabenta mong Maxim or kung ano nabenta mong shampoo. Mahirap yon. But if it's encoded every day, or set up a system at the end of every week, you encode everything, you will be able to see already what's moving and what's not moving.
Yes, Miss Bless. Yung isang store na napuntahan ko, combination. Meron siyang logbook, meron siyang POS, tapos minomonitor pa niya yung,
masyadong sigurista. Masyadong sigurista.
Needed by for tax purposes. And so the thing that what I saw, at least in terms of monitoring the sales and medyo masipag naman silang mag-monitor eh. Yung logbook nila, yes, they log physically write down on the logbook all the items that get sold. But at the end of the day, what the owner does is to compute, although syempre compute talaga, to compute for each item what is the profit margin for each. So makikita mo dun sa pagkasulat niya dun sa kanyang logbook, may isang column dun naka-red mark. Naka-compute each item the profit the margin. And then but see, medyo doble-doble. Kaya yung iba, yes, Miss Bessie, I hear you. When some stores really they are hesitant to use POS, because of that. But some because of they think it's doble trabaho because there's a correct, di ba? Hindi naman. Mas simple nga kung may POS eh. It's just that I think it's
the startup, I think the startup is the most crucial part lang when you're trying to encode everything that you're selling, putting item codes in it, but when may item code naman yan, babarilin mo lang and then that's it, it should already give you the insights, customer insights, how many are being sold, ilan ba ang puppy na nabebenta mo versus adult, ano bang mas madami mong orderin. So a lot of these insights can actually be found in a POS system, which again, a lot of retailers are very hesitant, and I really encourage them to do professionalize the way they do things. Tama na yung sulat-sulat sa resibo. Oo.
Miss Bless,
parang yung what's this EO? Yung EO hanggang ngayon naka-manual receipt. Sabi ko, ano ba naman, ate, baka naman 5 minutes ka na nagsusulat ng OR. Parang ang tagal, 'di ba? Parang if you're the consumer, parang why is it taking so long? If you just encoded everything and then barilin mo lang and then tapos na print out ang receipt, no? But that again boils down to consumer experience. Everything else is about consumer experience sa tingin ko.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ms. Blessing,
So,
you mentioned one of the beautiful things of having the app, POS, lalo na kung may sa app pa siya, because doon, the convenience of yun nga, babarilin mo lang. May capacity ang app. There's a feature for for codes. Na yun, kaya it's automated. It's so easy. But but we
and
do
and just the insights talaga that you can get from having a POS system. There are POS systems that are cloud-based, you pay only 2.5 a month, 3.5 a month, and then that's it, no? It's not so much, that's coming out of a little bit out of your margin, but come on. Hindi na siya yung dati na parang you have to buy a system na exclusively yours na may malaking makinarya dyan. Ngayon, it's just the iPad and everything is there. And it's cloud-based. You can access the information anytime. So we'll just, really push everyone to take a look at that. And it professionalizes, it speeds up everything that you want to do. So may question ako pala. What do you recommend for stores? Yung kanina yung sabi mo, where you store your store, something like that, no?
Yeah, when you store in your store.
Oh, what do you store in your store? Because a lot of the pet shops that I've seen, kung ano yung space nila, like a 25, 30 square meter store, that's already their warehouse, which should not be the case. What would you advise to them?
Well, for one, before they even purchase, just like what I said, begin with the end in mind. Ano bang objective nila in the first place? Because they would have to, yung lahat ng decision nila, lahat ng movements nila will have to be based on what the goal is. What is the objective of the company? What is the goal? Is it of course every business yan, so profit, diba? But they would have to really determine what is their specific goals. Do they want to grow bigger at a certain time period in such a way na I will purchase because I'm goaling that by 6 months I have nabili ko na yung katabi kong space. Mga ganon. So the way by which they can determine what is placed in the store will have to be grounded on what their objectives are. I think that me is always begin with the end in mind, what your objective is. So you could din laruin mo kung paano ka mo siya laruin.
I can't agree with you more on that, no? Kasi Hindi lang lahat benta-benta. You know, Simon Sinek used to say, people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. 'Di ba? It's
Yeah.
the whole start with why, no?
Yeah,
If you
and
plan
Miss
to,
Blessy, yes, just to interject also to add to what you're saying is people buy because of the experience that you're giving them. So,
yes,
you
exact.
know,
So
so it's the
if you
experience.
plan to put your pet shop as a warehouse, then get a bigger warehouse. Yun na tamang pet smart ang datingan, 'di ba? Pero kung
Yeah,
30 square meter ka lang tapos parang feeling mo pwede kang mamatay any moment na may babagsak sa ulo mo, no? Because up to ceiling level ang mga inventory. That's not the way to go unless, again, if your objective here is you put up a pet business only because you want to earn money, money will always come anywhere else, diba? It's not really just pet, etc. But what is it really that you want to offer that
yes,
other pet shops cannot? No, so if you want
yeah,
consumer shopping experience, you have to think of the pet owner when it comes to your store. Anong feeling niya paglabas, diba?
definitely.
So
That's why
unless,
when
yeah, yeah,
movement talaga yun eh. Pag nag-move yung
yes,
customer in your store, anong experience ang binibigay mo? That's how you need to monitor your inventory. Now,
yep,
so just like what you're saying, Miss Blessy, now, and I mentioned this also that, when you're in business, you're there to profit. Yes, you're there to earn. But
obviously, diba?
obviously, diba? But the thing there is, the nuance there is what is specifically the objective, your own company objective, or what is your personal objective? It is a personal thing for you.
Mm.
Is your goal expansion? Is your goal to be the one known for pet food, the go-to for pet food? Do you want to be known as the go-to for accessories? So it really would depend on what really you want as your goal or your objective, your why, so that then from there you could uh, tailor fit your decisions, because
Yeah.
ultimately syempre, diba?
Yeah,
para
it's a good discussion, and we can talk all day, all night about this one. But I think we have to wrap up unless there are any more questions from the group. Sue and the guys.
I think probably just the reality of certain challenges lang of inventory is the unrecorded, the waste and the spoilage that happens when it's due to either mishandling your products or it's slow moving.
Yeah.
So kaya nakakonekta ang inventory sa marketing and sales. Kasi pag slow moving yan, mabubulok na lang yan, masisira na lang yan, no? So fraud and theft. That's why you need to monitor just in case you have other people with
Yeah,
you.
yeah. There are
Monitor.
interdependencies, no? As you said, your inventory is also connected to your merchandising display. What should be in the counter? What should be in the back aisle? Like for example, no, you mentioned earlier kanina yung mga lot of pet shops, lahat ng cages nila nasa labas. Hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit. So these are cages that's probably gonna be bought by once or twice by a pet owner during their journey of pet ownership. You
Yes.
don't buy that every day. So why are you
Yes.
displaying it so prominently uh, in your pet store? Cramping up your space, limiting your movement of customers. So these are the things that they need to learn. No? Parang ano bang fast moving? Yung small items, impulse items should be in the counter. Dog food and pet food should always be in front. You don't navigate pa everything else, no? Because these are the ones that are going to be bought regularly. The
Yes.
accessories, you leave it in one corner, but please, the cages, I beg of you, for those of you who are listening, do not put your cages all in front. Fold them up, display a picture. If you want to display, say that you have inventory of cages, you post a picture, available sizes, colors, whatever. That's it. No?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of having
Make the
online
space work
stores
for
now.
you. Yeah.
Pag online na, lalo na even if you do have a physical store and you have an online store, it gives your customers a provision to order. Na
Yes.
to order na you don't have to keep inventory, but they can order. May lead time ka to purchase, and you don't have to keep it in your store. So I think
Yep.
that's one of the things that they can maximize using an online
Yeah,
So
again, we can talk all day, all night about this, but we have to let our audience go. I think it's
All
been a
right.
great learning,
thank you
always,
very
no?
much.
I hope people would still, even if those who wasn't able, who weren't able to join us live, this module would be available in Entrepreneurship Academy, right? So, and they can revert back to it. Later on, the Excel that you showed, you can share that and we can have them download it in the site, Miss Jolinne.
Yes,
Yeah,
And
all right.
for
we have
someone,
time.
for some people perhaps that are not so tech savvy, parang, ha, hindi nga ako marunong mag-Excel. You know, I can share with you the person who's always my go-to person for Excel. And
Sige.
so if they need someone, then yeah, he's an accountant, and so he creates these Excel formulas for me. So
All right.
Miss Jolinne, baka meron kang mga last minute tips para sa ating mga entreps.
last minute tips in terms of inventory. Okay,
Yes.
I shared with you tangible organization, but also make sure that your intangible organization is in place. That's your systems, and all your systems will flow as to how you're going to design your systems, how you're going to make decisions when you can ground yourself with your objectives.
All
Ground
right.
yourself first. What are you there for as a business? Why are you there? Always answer that question first. Why are you there? Then it's easy for you to decide if you're going to get people, if you're going to buy this, if you're going to put this here. Why are, pag tinanong mo bakit? Because this is my why. This is what I'm doing it
Yeah.
for. So yeah, that's it. So
Amen, amen, amen. I can't agree with you more than that, kasi talagang yung iba talagang na divert sila na parang ask yourself why. Is
Mm-hmm.
this, if I do something, is this aligned to my why? Is
yeah.
this everything else? Let that question be your guiding principle, and that should lead you to the right path of success. Char, ang lalim.
Okay.
All right.
Salamat,
Vision,
Goodies.
yeah,
Yes.
vision is the why. That's actually
Diba?
it. Okay.
Yan.
So
Maraming salamat, Miss
thank
Jolinne
you.
and Miss
Thank
Blessy. Good
you.
Thank you
afternoon.
so much, and have a good weekend. And thank you to the team,
Yes,
Leo, Jenna, Miko, who else is Sue, and the other new guy, I forgot,
si Wilson
Wilson.
natin. Maraming
Thank
Wilson.
you.
salamat. See you next
Thank you.
time.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bless.
Ayan, live pa ba tayo?